Welcome to another You Bijou. You're getting two this week because last week I did not have a voice. So let's get started. We're going to do two variations of Diva dance. The tangle is Diva dance. So I'm going to start with corner dots for the first one for quote unquote regular Diva dance. We're going to do 4 corner dots. We're going to connect the dots and create a border. Whoops. And then from there, we will pick up our pen and start Diva dance. So Diva dance starts with I'm going to call it a squiggly line. And then you kind of aura that line. It doesn't have to be really precise, but it can be. And then I'm going to pick a spot on this line and I'm going to create like a bump almost and color it in. And then I'm going to aura that. Maybe I'll aura it one more time. And then on this line, I'm going to put a bump in a different spot. A little like seed almost is what they remind me of. And then aura. Maybe another aura. Maybe here I'll put a little seed there. And so you can just play along your tile here where you want. Maybe you want to put 2 on one line. That's okay. And just kind of taking turns rotating through aura-ing. And creating these seed-like shapes. I typically don't shade this one. I don't have an intention to shade it today, but I do play a little bit like that line's getting a little straight, so I'm gonna kind of play with adding the seed shape. I don't always go every other one. I just kind of play with how it's flowing and how I want it to look. So maybe I'll add one here. And this is a good tile to maybe hold it up at arm's length and just see how it's starting to look and unfold. Maybe playing with where you want to add more of these seed shapes. And you can kind of change the shape on them because you're coloring them in. So you can kind of play with how far you want it to jut out, how long and narrow you want it to be. It's a really playful tangle, I think, where you can sort of decide how you want things to look and be a little playful with that. So maybe I'll stop here just for fun. I kind of think that when I draw this tangle, sometimes it's nice to draw it like that, where I'm drawing vertically, but then turning my tile and then having this be almost like a wave or sand. And then you could draw some crescent moon up here or do some Oz, like the AHHH, or Printomp, or really anything up in here. Indierella would be fun. And just play with that. But I feel like I'm going to call that good. I don't want to fill the entire tile. I will grab a Tortillion if I can find one here. Yeah. And just use my smudger or my Tortillion to smudge the outside. You could shade along these where those sort of ridges happen, but I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to leave it looking crisp. And just shade or kind of smudge the edges of this so that it gives it some dimension. And then I'm going to put my chop kind of small and stretched out in this corner under here. And then dangle the heart that I draw on my chop. And then on the back, I want to write You Bijou. And then the date, oh, it's actually 9, gosh, 9/24/25. And then this tangle is called Diva Dance. And then next we will do Diva Dance Rock and Roll, and you'll see how that plays out. And then I want to sign it or initial it, and that's it. And we can appreciate again. Thanks. Have a great day.